Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Is It Kino Ripoff podcast. I am your host, Johnny Bosco, joined as always by Dean Chapman, Eli Hargett, and Sydney Meredith. Today, we are going to be talking about House of the Flying Daggers.
What did y'all think of it? Dean.
I thought it was fun.
Eli.
It was confusing, but, it turned out to be, a good story overall.
Sydney.
I thought I liked it more when I watched it a long time ago, but I thought the story was meh, but I liked the look of the movie and the scenery.
Absolutely. Showed the beautiful side of China. Not a side that we see that often, unfortunately. I will say that watching the DVD, I had the old school big yellow subtitles. That was like a really early 2000s nostalgia bomb.
Yeah.
I thought it was good. So effectively, you got May, a blind dancer girl that goes to work at some castle. This is a period piece. I believe like 17th century China. Anybody know?
I'm not
Yeah, I
sure.
think you're pretty close. Maybe like 800, type of AD. Something, I don't know.
Definitely didn't see any iPhones.
She goes to work at a palace, is infiltrating. Turns out she's a member of the House of the Flying Daggers. I will say, first off, as she is doing this little dancing thing, she gets sexually assaulted. That's kind of wild. I will go further to say that I was impressed with the Chinese actually arresting them. I thought that would have been a fair thing with this guy being an esteemed gentleman, but he got arrested, so that was good for him.
But they arrested her too for being indecent, even though.
They. That's why they took her to play the Echo game, and that was the thing. Throwing the pebbles around.
That was
the Matrix pebble toss towards the end where he threw her the whole bowl.
Yeah,
that's just crazy. Never seen.
I don't know exactly what I was expecting, but I was far less impressed with the results. But
it took a long time. I feel like it would have taken a normal person. There's no way you would have had the time to do that. It was in slow motion.
Oh, she's blind, so she could just hear really good.
Oh,
yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, she knew where they all were.
Blind dancing girl, get real. Get real.
Yeah. You know what? Even her being blind,
very ableist of you,
ruse.
Johnny. Blind girls can dance too.
Blindly.
Then all of a sudden they start fighting, which I really didn't even understand why or how that started happening. They teleported inside, which was really wild. That guy, Leo, I think, he had mad observation hockey, just taking her down real quick towards the end. So she gets apprehended, and then gets broken out by a not ninja, because this is China, not Japan.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't even think about that. I didn't even think about that.
I mean, you dress.
What do you call it? What do you call a Chinese warrior?
Well, actually, as my weeaboo self, there actually were no ninja. They didn't use that word. They used the word shinobi, or something like that. I don't freaking know.
Yeah, it was something different.
But when he rescued her, they get out, and it's the guy who sexually assaulted her. Nobody better to be saved by.
Oh yeah, he just turns out to be just a really good guy.
Yeah.
He just had a few too much to drink,
Yeah, it'd be like Harvey Weinstein coming to your rescue. But I thought the choreography and everything was really good in it. I mean, especially for the time,
Oh, for sure. The fights were decent. The dancing was dancing. I don't know.
I think kind of what Sydney said at the beginning, like just you get to see the good side of China, and just like there's just a lot,
Yeah, I mean,
there's a lot of really beautiful scenes.
Certainly a vibe. I mean, I definitely think there are certain things that get lost in translation.
Yeah.
Like that thing where they're saying like real flowers bloom in the wilderness. Like, what the fuck does that even mean?
Yeah, what you can't grow real flowers inside your house?
I mean, I think flowers are probably more potent and pristine when they're grown. I mean, I guess the impurities, if that's what it's going for, but I don't know. It's probably some
Maybe
proverbial Chinese
Try
thing
not
that
to
I just
step
can't.
on them.
Well, this is probably in the era before, pesticides were being sprayed on all the plants and everything, so probably about right.
You saying I shouldn't be around all this Roundup?
After they escape, when she's like feeling up his face and stuff, and then goes down on him, they're very wrong for doing that because she didn't have to do all that
she
to touch
didn't
his
go
hands.
down on him. Though.
Bro, she didn't have to do all that to touch his hands, though.
Yeah, that
She
was.
did. She did. I mean, she went down. He got that
Seriously?
shit-eating grin and everything.
He was trying to like fake
They
something.
knew what they were doing. She was grabbing his hands.
Yeah, that was a little
That's
crazy.
how I can tell how you really are.
I mean, if she's really that blind, it's just doing too much. You were going for something else. She was trying to grab another slab of meat off of him.
Ew.
Balls.
Then they start getting attacked again, being chased by the palace guards.
Is that
She
where
just
like
Fucked up the horse with a sheep, which I thought was
completely
ridiculous.
horse? Yeah, that was the few things I had written down, like lady knocking down horse.
Yeah,
that
and he like shoots those arrows like perfectly, like in slow motion at all of them.
Was that
Yeah.
when they curved, or
I think
that
that was
later?
when they curved. They like went through the trees and like curved all around and then like hit them all in like same spot.
Yeah, that was good. I mean, it was like some of the fighting scenes, especially. I feel like as the movie progressed, the fighting scenes became a lot better. Like maybe they just kind of figured out, because they kept recording, how to make him look a little more, like kind of badass, I guess.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well, they get chased off. I don't believe I said it, so I should give the detail that the place she was infiltrating, she's working for the House of the Flying Daggers, a assassin organization. She claimed to be the daughter of the former palace leader, and she was trying to infiltrate to overthrow the palace, allegedly.
That was determined to be a lie.
Yeah, and she wasn't even blind.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But you don't
Can't
find that
believe
out
that.
till later.
Huh?
Yeah, but basically their whole relationship was built off of a lie, and he still fell in love with her.
Well,
Yeah.
that one guy that was like he was like chasing them, and was one of the bad guys that he shot with the arrow. His name was Leo, right?
Yeah,
And
something like that.
he kept meeting up with him, and then he told him like, "Don't fall in love with her; she'll trick you." Blah blah blah. And then he goes back and then basically tries to rape her after he tells him that. So I mean, I feel like that guy obviously has no self-control.
Yeah, well, since we're already talking about that portion, I will say for sure that he is showing himself to be the Supreme Chinaman. Shout out to Ariat Roger. That's what I call him.
And all of the like kissing scenes in this movie were like very disturbing.
I was
Yes,
very,
it certainly was drawn out.
I was very distured by how they
Whatever.
kiss in China. I hope that's not how all Chinese people kiss.
They were just like all up
Well,
in each other's mouth.
It looks like how like when you're like in a middle school play or something, how like two like middle schoolers would try to kiss.
They were just like all over each other and all inside each other's mouths, and I was like, "This is disgusting."
The part where he got her to the wildflowers out in the right after they had the bath scene, which was kind of weird. I mean, it was kind of actually based where he hung up the sword and was watching her.
Oh yeah, and that he was watching her, and then she was basically like didn't really care that much.
Yeah, she's like, "Oh, if you save me, look as much as you like." So, that's a very Chinese mentality. Voyeurism is entirely okay under certain circumstances. But those wildflowers, they looked really basic, and it's a good thing she's blind.
She's not blind though.
I know she's not, but she still was at this portion in the story.
Yeah, I got a little ahead of myself. Oops.
Yeah, before you
Spoiler
know
alert.
that she's not blind, spoiler, it like when you're watching it,
Well, you already
like,
talked about the Supreme Chinaman.
well, that part where she's like riding the horse and she's just like perfectly dodging like every single tree, riding the horse like as fast as she can.
Oh yeah,
I'm
when
like, how can a blind person do that?
it's like, how is she riding through the woods?
No, and you know what I noticed too? This is more like I was saying earlier, I think just off the record, I was talking about it being similar to Romeo and Juliet. Maybe it's more like Robin Hood. It's kind of like a Robin Hood story.
Yeah.
Like the whole House of the Flying Daggers. That's basically like just a bunch of Robin Hoods just going around and taking what they want from the ruling class.
Kind of. It is kind of cool though that they just come out of nowhere and just throw daggers and kill everybody.
Yeah. I like the part where they got incarcerated when Jin and Mai, where they got incarcerated with the bamboo. They sure got themselves in a sticky situation there.
Oh,
Yeah.
that was pretty sweet. That was a cool scene.
Yeah, that was a cool scene, and then the daggers just come from nowhere. But that's like when you first find out that she's like part of the daggers. She tries to leave him right before that. And he follows her, doesn't he? Because he knows
something like that.
He knows that, well, the other guy told him like there's more guys up ahead that were gonna try to get her. And then he was gonna leave her, and then he was like, "No, I love her," basically, and chased her down.
Yeah, this woman seemed to get a lot of guys in trouble. Not with just the law, but other of her entanglements.
Yeah.
What did everyone rate the movie? Now we're just kind of general going over the general overview.
I guess let's go ahead and talk about the final little bit where they had their long drawn out fight, where apparently it just started snowing all of a sudden. And...
Yeah, that was fucking awesome. Lots of greens, and then it goes to white.
Hopefully it was not asbestos they were using.
I guess before we talk about that, we kind of have to talk about so after the daggers come and he finds out, well, she's not the blind daughter of the ruler or whatever, the old ruler of the daggers. She's actually just some lady that's in the daggers that's helping.
I thought she was like higher up, or like a daughter.
Yeah, she's like
somebody.
They said originally she was the daughter of the old ruler, but she wasn't. She was just pretending to be, and she was just basically like a spy that went in there and like infiltrated, but because they were out trying to take down the government basically. But he finds that out because the daggers capture him and like tie him up, and then we also find out like during that time that Leo, the guy that he's been talking to that's been warning him that, you know, all these warriors are going to come and attack him, he's actually part of the daggers, and he's in love with May. And then he basically tries to like force kiss May. And it's like, I love you, but she loves Jen now.
Yep. That was wild. Just came out, and I don't get how she fell in love with him per se. That didn't make a lot of sense. Roger then lashes out with his full incel rage, starts trying to kill Jen with a bloodlust.
Yeah, so if she's supposed to go, basically they tell her, well, you need to get rid of Jin and you need to kill him, so it's your job to like take him out to nowhere and just kill him with daggers. So he's all tied up and she takes him out like to this field basically. And then I guess they have sex. Whatever.
Yeah.
And then after that, she's like, you need to leave, like I'm not gonna kill you. And he's like, please come with me. And she's like, I can't. And then he runs off, and then she starts going the other way, and then she decides, well, just kidding, I'm gonna go with him, and he decides, well, I'm gonna turn around and be with her. But while she's like going towards him, that Leo comes and throws a dagger at her, and it sticks right near her heart. She's like falls to the ground. And then obviously the other guy's Jen is coming back and realize he thinks that she's dead, so they get into like a giant brawl.
Yes. Epic confrontation.
That was probably the best part of the whole movie.
Culminating in
Yeah.
her throwing the dagger from her heart into Leo.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh
well,
yeah, hitting her with the double dagger, that was dirty, man.
Yeah, he really didn't have to. He didn't have to do it like that. But he
Yeah.
he
did.
was
come
basically, it's like the mentality, if I can't have you, then nobody can have you, and you're just gonna die.
Yeah.
Yes, that is how the Supreme Chinaman handles things.
Almost like a kamikaze.
And then after that, they're like killing each other with swords, just after each other with swords, and they're just both tearing each other apart. Till she gets
Yep.
up and they're like, she's
The
alive!
masculine urge to bleed out in the snow.
But then by that time, yeah, they're covered in snow, and then he's like, don't rip the dagger out of your heart. He does it anyway, throws it, and then they all just die because they're all so bloody in the snow. So.
Yep, they all fell in love in varying ways, and they all died for it. This clear CCP propaganda. They're trying to
Oh
prevent
my!
people from having their own autonomy. You follow the state, you don't die. You fall in love, you die.
Yeah,
Don't
basically.
die.
Yeah,
That's
you need to
bad.
spend 18 hours. You need to spend 18 hours a day in the slant, and not in the slammer, in the shop.
I will say something about this movie that they did a terrible job in, is just making you like feel for the people that were all in love and tangled in this triangle.
Oh hell no! I didn't feel bad for none of them. I wanted them all to die.
Because
Like,
it's
y'all
like,
are.
how is this girl falling in love with this guy who tried to rape her like 3 times, and then the other guy loves her and tries to rape her too? And then
He only did it once, didn't he? Only that once at the beginning. I mean,
He
not
only
that
tried to
any
rape her
number of
once.
rapes is an acceptable number, but
no, because he like force made out with her after he like saved her, and then she was like, no. And then after that, she tried to make out with him, and he was like, no. And then,
well, that one was different.
yeah. But, I mean, everybody's just like forcing making out with each other, and then in the end, they're like, let's just do it. And
Are you
then-
trying to say that the Chinese people do not understand love?
Not saying all the Chinese people, I'm just saying, like, this movie just, it didn't make you feel for the characters.
No,
that
no,
were
I agree. I certainly feel like this movie was like trying to emulate other stories that had love, but they didn't actually have the way to write it down and portray it on film. Something was certainly missing. I haven't seen too many Chinese movies. I'm far more adept in my Japanese movie knowledge. Shout out to Godzilla. I have seen some Chinese movie. I'm looking at like some Bruce Lee, Jackie Chan. Love to see him.
Jackie
Drunken
Chan.
Master.
But it's just like, I don't know, the story didn't make you feel much, but except for until the end, and then, but a lot of people love this movie because it's so beautiful and because, like, the fighting, I thought the fighting was really cool, even though it's like
Yeah, it's
basic,
fun.
like kung fu. Obviously, it's a kung fu movie, like you're seeing like people bounce off of things and swords bending and all this
Parkour.
stuff. Yeah. So it's cool.
Yeah, it
and
felt kind of Matrixy. I mean,
Yeah.
I guess it came out in a time period where after The Matrix came out, everything kind of tried to rip that off.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's like a fun watch in that way, but the story, I just feel
Was it originally a 3D movie?
I
It
don't
looks
think
like it
so.
almost is. Like some of the when like some of the things that get thrown or whatever just get really close to the camera. It's like it'll pop out.
It may have been 3D, I don't know. I think it was just kind of trying to do the Matrixy style of effects, but I don't know.
Hmm.
I haven't even seen The Matrix.
Yeah, I felt like the movie was more about like special effects than the story.
Yeah.
It's like this is all about like cool effects, camera work, and good colors to make it all pop.
And I feel like that's why I originally liked the movie is because but
Very
I also
visually
remember,
appealing.
yes, but I remember when I first watched this, like I cried a lot. And I was like, this is the best love story. And now I do not think that. I was also
How
like a
did you come across this movie? Is this like a blockbuster find or something? I've never heard of this.
My friend Gabby had this movie and we watched it all the time and we really liked this movie. So I don't know where it came from, but I just know she had it and we would watch it all the time.
Fair enough.
And
What everybody rate it?
I would still give it like a 7.
Eli?
Probably like a 5. Just like the story, the lack of like what we were talking about, like emotional attachment you have to the characters really kind of pulls the weight down in the movie quite a bit. Because I mean, like what you're saying, like it's very visually appealing. Like the scenes are cool, but it's just like you don't care about the characters or what happens to them. You're just kind of like waiting for something to happen.
Dean?
I think I'll give it. I'm gonna go with a 6. I'm feeling a 6.
Jeez. Okay.
Yeah,
well,
I thought the movie
Oh,
was
okay.
fun.
Here we
gave
go.
it a 5.75. I mean, I'm not saying it was horrible, but
Yeah, it was fun. It wasn't anything like crazy, but
I would never want to watch it again. I mean, I'm gonna be real. I'm gonna go ahead and say it. I think that I was more fair with my rating of my enjoyment of this than you all were with your rating of previous film, but that's all right.
Hey,
I
my
feel
rating
like
was pretty close.
I feel like I would still watch this again though.
Yeah, I'm about to drag you across concrete there.
Like I still really liked the movie, but I didn't enjoy it as much as I used to enjoy it, but I still really liked it. And I feel like it was still like a really good watch in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't hate myself for watching it. It was good.
Well,
Solid piece of cinema.
It's well enough. I mean, I've got it on my shelf, and I'll probably never put it in again. But it's a thing.
Hey, it might become a cult classic one day.
I think it's already a cult classic of sorts, but I wouldn't be able to tell you.
It is a cult classic movie. It is. A lot of people love this movie a lot.
Yeah, it was well received at the time. It came out in like 04.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it came out a long time ago.
Yeah, well, a cult classic, you gotta give at least 30 years.
I mean, 04, that's like 20 years,
Yeah.
So,
That's not. I mean, yeah. It wasn't. I think that.
I will say, like, for me, the thing that ruined it most was, like, just honestly the weird kissing. Like, I could do without that in this movie. Like,
whenever it got to certain scenes, I realistically did just put it on 1.5 times speed. Couldn't sit there and, like, this movie's just extra long for no reason.
No, whenever it got to those kissing scenes, you put it on half speed so you can watch in slow motion.
No, that is the opposite of what I did. I sped it up 1.5 speed. I would have gone faster if I was watching it on my laptop, but the PlayStation only has such.
I did actually enjoy the music in this movie too.
Yeah, the music was good.
I thought it was pretty good.
I can't say I remember any of it, but it was well enough. I mean, it got a very Oriental vibe to it. There was a portion where they were doing the Echo game when I couldn't do anything other than play this. I did that for about as long as the scene went on. I was bored.
I like the song at the end too, and I thought the end was really good in this movie. Like, not good because they all died, but like it was just the most epic fight of them all.
I think the end was good because they all died. I didn't care for these characters and would have rather them not continue
So
on with
I'm
them.
sick. I'm sick of all these characters.
Well, I kind of wish that.
I like the ending a lot better than the dragged across concrete.
Yeah,
Let's
true.
stop.
I kind of wish though that like Leo died and they could just run away together because I just hated Leo. He was like the worst character.
Yeah, I mean, he was just a jealous little fuck. He's like, yeah, I waited 4 years, or 3 years of my life. You just go off with this guy, fall in love in 2 days. Unreal.
Yeah, and then he just wants to kill her.
3 years, 3 days.
And then he just wanted to try to sexually assault me.
I don't understand why everyone wanted to sexually assault her, but
I mean, it's probably just the Chinese cultural
It's
ritual.
just the meta.
Especially at that time period, things were very...
Tensions were high.
did you
Any
guys
final
at least-
thoughts?
I was gonna say, did you guys at least like the fighting scenes?
Yeah, that's why. The choreography was good and everything. Seemed like they had practice, and everyone kind of knew what they were doing.
I think my final thought is that I came into this movie thinking it was better than it was. And I was slightly disappointed.
Yeah, well, I didn't have many expectations going in, so that probably helped my enjoyment. If I would have thought it was going to be good, I probably would have rated it 4 or something. I mean, but,
Well, I was going to rate it
thought.
like a 10, and so I went down and rated it a 7.
I feel like 6 is fair. I'm kind of leaning to the lower end, like a 5.5 now, but if I can walk away from the movie like, oh, this isn't a terrible ending, I feel like that automatically gets you a 5.
Yeah, I mean, we're not professional.
During
I mean, this isn't. There's not any real criteria you got to go for. Rate it based off your enjoyment, like how you personally enjoy it. I would never watch this again.
I feel like it would have slapped a lot harder in Spanish, but...
Well, it certainly would have been worse if we would have been able to get a hold of the dub, because having the DVD, it was just awful. They were straight reading off the script.
And what would your name be?
Just call me Wind.
Why Wind?
I wander around wherever I please. Come and go without a trace.
Oh, a carefree Wind.
No, I care a lot, but I'm a playful Wind.
You really like to tease, don't you? I wonder what you look like.
Now that's easy.
Yeah, that's how I
that could have been
originally
enjoyable.
That's how I originally watched it, and I watched it like 10 times like that.
This is the best story ever.
Well, when you're like
It was a product at the time.
a middle school girl, it's a really good movie.
Hey, you don't have to tell me. I mean, I've had plenty of movies that I had, and pieces of media in general, that I enjoyed a good deal at a younger age that these days just does not ring for me at all. Alright, sounds like we are about out of things to say about this movie. Eli, would you like to go ahead and tell what your movie is going to be?
It's going to be a 90s film, Outbreak, Morgan Freeman.
Yes, you love Morgan Franklin.
I do.
Morgan Franklin.
I do love Morgan Franklin movies. There was a time, and there was another time. There were many times.
Wait, what is Outbreak about?
The poop that took.
You'll have to wait till you watch it to find out.
You can't even tell me like what if it's like an action movie or.
We'll watch it.
It's a planned pandemic movie.
It's about COVID.
Yeah.
No, this was well before COVID.
No, it's about COVID. It's what they were about to do.
Alright, cool.
Bye, everybody. See you next time.